2x2, 7 rows deep. And rolling up to the start-finish line.
Looks like Asher going a little bit off track as the inside. As they can. Saber making an amazing dive into turn 1. And electroshocks off. Eggful gets the move. But MNU trying to take a move.
Big contact from 5 different parts.
Big incident with Snowdog, our leader.
As we head into turn row, it's a big crash. It's a big crash between the two title contenders.
Welcome back to the Simufur Club Classic, and welcome back to Road Atlanta. We're heading to the Georgia roller coaster for our first and only full course layout that we'll be using for the series, the site of the legendary Petite Le Mans, and now the site of what will hopefully be some great Simufur multi-class racing. Hey everyone, I'm Kady Timberfox. Newbie Nick is, as always, alongside me in the booth. Paliku'i is behind the camera. I'm sure our drivers will be delighted to hear that there isn't any rain expected in our forecast today. It should be clear skies for both of our 25-minute races. Now, Nick, we were talking a bit before the broadcast about how the championship has been looking. That's a big shunt there from an MX-5. It's just trying to get some practice in. Cool it, Tombstone. We were talking about how the championship is looking now that we're past the halfway point in this series. The MX-5 Cup Championship is looking fairly sewn up by Athena Leclerc at this point, but it's still looking pretty wide open in the touring cars. Who do you think has been looking the strongest so far?
I think for myself, Plasma seems to be the strongest. We might not see them far away from everyone all the time, but they just seem the most confident, the one that isn't too worried. You don't see them making erratic moves here and there. I think the most they usually fight with is with Philip Beckervold, and to me, it's I don't know. It's just the usual stereotypical Plasma is the strongest one here, but that's what I see from this past few rounds.
I think this is probably one of the strongest fights that we've seen anybody ever take to Plasma in consistently in most of these races. We've seen him have to fight for that P1 position, sometimes losing it for a little bit, maybe getting it back, but just something about these cars is bringing the top of the field together in a way that doesn't usually happen, which is really awesome. And the person taking the fight to them most of the time tends to be Philip Beckervold, like we said sort of in that little thing that you were talking about there. But it's been basically Philip, Plasma, and actually a pretty surprising name that we've seen at the top quite a few times at this point is Joni Hagner, who has not set a practice time yet, but who has been looking super, super strong, especially in the wet conditions, actually, in that Honda Civic TCR. And this is a pretty good sneak peek right here of probably what we're going to be seeing throughout a lot of this race. That's some good practice for Philip, working on trying to figure out how to get around these MX-5 cars when you are, heading down the hill, heading up the hill, into these, super blind braking zones. Down the S's is probably going to be where it's going to get the worst, considering that the dynamic that we've seen so far with these cars is that the TCRs tend to let loose on the straights and get by really easily, as we're following along with our Cup class champion right now, Athena Leclerc, putting in some practice laps. But then once you get into the corners, once the cars start slowing down, they start to be a little bit more equivalent with each other in pace. Even though there's not a lot of room to pass around this track, when you're heading down the S's like that, you're almost at full speed in either one of these cars. So it's going to be really difficult for drivers if they end up catching traffic down into the kink at turn 5. But we'll just have to see who can basically keep it on the track for the entirety of our 25 minutes here for both of our races.
Yeah, but speaking about Yoni and the Honda, I did hear concerns about the Honda. They seem like they don't have enough power here in the straights. So I think some of the Honda drivers are a bit concerned that they might not able to catch up with the Audis at this very long straight. And Pascal is having fun slinging it around in the front wheel drive cars. They do run very interestingly with how you can just sling it and just put the power down and they will straighten up. That is the hallmark of a front wheel drive TCR car, but don't get too comfortable with it. They will loop around if you're not too careful with it. So yeah, as you can see here, the back straight here, very long. I think we're expecting a lot of the MX-5 Cup cars going to have draft trains here. But at the same time, the TCRs will have a lot of opportunity to overtake the Masters here. So it might be a bit of a traffic jam in Sector 1, but it's going to be pretty much smooth sailing Sector 2/Sector 3, I would feel.
Yeah, that's the hope. If you're one of these TCR cars, just making sure that you catch folks in the right places. And there is a very, very busy track today. We've got at least 30 drivers. I think it's looking like about 35 on my timing sheet right now. Most of those look like they are Mazda Cup cars, but it's a pretty even split between the two classes right now. Actually, surprisingly, it's mostly, and I think we've seen this for a good chunk of our series so far, but it's a lot of Hyundais, both the Elantras and the occasional Veloster here and there as well. But yeah, we've definitely been seeing just throughout this series, especially in the rainy conditions, which, to the credit of our drivers, I think they've handled really, really well. There was definitely at least some concerns going into, especially the Lime Rock round, which we did not catch on our broadcast, but we got a bit of a taste of it in our Silverstone round the last time out. And again, like we were saying, it does bring the field together when you have sort of the differences in who feels comfortable in the weather, who feels good with changing conditions, which was mostly sort of the story of Silverstone. But here, where it's just, dry running, which we haven't had since our first round at Navarra, actually. It'll be interesting to see where the grid is at this point now that everybody's sort of more comfortable with these cars. We'll see if especially Yoni and folks like Sarah Van Vlietland and Philip Beckvold are able to keep up the really good pace that we've seen in these last couple of races in the dry.
Yeah, but as talking about season stuff, you kind of remember that as well. Like you said, when things are starting to settle down, this is just round 4. I don't know why in my mind I thought this is already the 5th round. We're already at the end of the season, close to. But being that it's only round 4, there's still definitely time for you to catch up on points for some drivers as well. Things can happen with basically 3 rounds remaining here. So it can definitely do a lot of damage to your driver, to the leaderboard if you're able to keep it clean in the drives. But you really have to pray for luck on your side, given that one wrong move I can see in Silverstone, having traffic just in the wrong place, wrong time, can really set you back pretty harshly. And especially here with basically Sector 1 being an uphill, you don't want to lose so much time. As well as the downhill, you don't want to lose as much time here, or else you're basically losing like a second or two, just going down certain corners here and there. And it's definitely going to be painful for drivers to catch up. But the competitors will definitely be hounding each other like sharks, trying to gain as much as they can. But yeah, I can see here coming into turn 1, you don't want to get held up here. I think Uni is already half a second off from just having an MX-5 in front of them. To no fault of the MX-5 as well. It's just wrong place, wrong time. And yeah, this is going to be what's going to look like in the race, as you can see here.
Yeah, it's a very high-speed corner is turn 1 compared to a lot of the other turn 1s that we've seen on our other tracks. It's fairly similar, I suppose, to Cops, just in terms of the general profile of the thing. But again, it is just, you have that huge uphill. You have the blind braking zone at the top of that hill. You're trying to cut in and get to that apex. We'll see it on our laps once we get into qualifying in about a minute's time here. Remember, we do have just 1 lap of qualifying here, and there are a lot of places on this track where you can both bump draft MX-5s down the straights, which I can't imagine we're going to be seeing this. I am amazed that this is working, actually, as well as it is. I would have imagined that either one of these cars would have spun out at this point, but look at that speed boost that Parker Olsen got.
Oh my God.
Just from that straight there. But yeah, definitely there are a lot of places on this track where drivers tend to cut a lot of the apex and the exit curbs, especially. So the places that we're going to be watching out for track limits the most, I would say, would be most likely at the top of the hill, turn 2, the inside apex. That's a place where you can get either a slowdown or an off track that will
You mean turn
invalidate your
3?
lap. Turn 5 is definitely one as well. It's a huge runoff, but you also still have to be careful with it just to make sure that you don't bounce wide and get the car out of control and end up in the gravel. And then just a couple of other places as well. The chicanes, people like to cut a lot of those apexes as well. So they'll have to be nice and tidy on their laps. The tires won't be totally in. They'll just have to sort of do their best, and we're going to get there in just a few moments.
Yeah, as you can already see there, turn 5 is already full of gravel. It's gonna be... I don't think they're gonna enjoy the grip levels there. As you can see from recent Reddit discourse, that gravels don't get cleared up between sessions. Not sure if the gravel's still there, but that will definitely affect the grip that you can get on exit, especially during qualifying. This is one shot qualifying after all. I got a feeling that everyone will have the same gravel on there. I'm not sure if they clear it for one shot qualifying. But it's definitely interesting to see how the drivers tackle this as they are preparing for qualifying. We do have a 5-minute qualifying here. It's only one shot. You have to do this within 5 minutes. People are already warming up the car, as Philip Beckevold's doing right now before they start racing. And Philip's binned it. They have to restart again for. They have to restart it to get where they need to be. But as you can see here, Yoni's making sure to not crash it. I think Philip's gonna have to just restart, but it's something they have to do. They have to slide the rears, or else the rear has no heat while the front has all the heat. So it's definitely a risk versus reward thing. I think the pros know what they're doing, but that's why they are always in front by like margins compared to the rest of the grid.
Right. This is something that for folks who are familiar with the GT3 class, especially in iRacing, some of the other classes as well have also received this particular tire model, which tends to that was a great shot. I loved that one. Oh gosh, putting on a show here is Yoni Hagner just drifting around in that Honda TCR. But yeah, that should definitely get the temperature in. You don't want to overdo it, obviously, but with this tire compound, it's pretty hard to overdo, quite honestly. This is a really, really fun lap. It's one of my favorite tracks to hot lap in pretty much any car, but especially the really quick high downforce ones. It's not so much what we have on deck for today, but it is definitely still a challenge, especially in these cars, and it's going to be all about just carrying the speed all the way around the lap, doing as much as you can to make sure that your apex speeds are good, your exit speeds are good. And we're going to be seeing that as Yoni Hagner crosses underneath the Fox Factory sign right now down the hill, and we are heading on to our first qualifying lap at the Atlanta roller coaster. We're crossing the finish line now, so this will be the lap that does it. Up on the run to turn 1, you're looking for that sort of pavement on the side there. Keeping it in 5th here, I've seen some drivers go down to 4th, but using as much of the exit as you can. This is a really, really hard place to try to judge your braking. Looks like Yoni did it pretty well here, cutting inside to 3rd gear here, and then following this left-handed curb all the way around, and now you're heading down the S's, just modulating the throttle all the way down. In these cars, it's not flat out. Looking for that curb on the right side, that's your braking point, and then just extending the track limits all the way over that huge curb on the exit of turn 5. It looked nice and tidy there from Yoni. Looked in control of the car. You're looking for that white line right there, that first white line, and then you're cutting in. You can carry more speed through that corner than you think because it's nice and you're nice and cambered on it. This corner, on the other hand, much less camber, and it looks like Yoni got that one done okay. And now you're on the straight on the way down to the chicane. This is the longest point on the track. We're probably going to see a lot of moves happen at this particular point in the racetrack. This is technically a corner here, turn 9, according to iRacing, but it's nice and flat out here. And you're looking just before that 100 board to get on the brakes, maybe a little bit, maybe on or a little bit after even the 100 board there. Not as much of the apex or the exit as Yoni could have taken, but they're playing it safe here. It looked like a nice and tidy lap, and this is flat all the way around to cross the finish line for what will end up being a 126.9, which is 0.2 slower than Philip Beckevold, who has the fastest time so far. Plasma has not set a time yet. We may be able to follow along with that lap a little bit later, but at the top of the MX5 class, it's Athena Leclerc. Who else could it possibly be? She's half a second ahead of the rest of the field, and that is a nice, comfortable pole position, or it should be by the end of our time here. Jordan Johnson looks like they're on a pretty decent lap here as we get around. Camo as well, apparently a purple sector there for them, so we'll see if that ends up becoming anything. We're seeing the times come in right now, and this is going to be Jordan crossing the line now. And that will put them at the top with a 126.37. That is 0.3 clear, over 0.3 clear of the rest of the field. So comfortable pole positions in both classes, but a little bit less comfortable for Plasma than it was for Athena.
It's comfortable position, but at the same time, I saw this this round seems like it's gonna be the front's not gonna be as close as they should be. Gap to P1's 3/10, gap to P2's another 2/10. So it's like there's so much big gaps between P1 to P4. It's gonna be interesting to see how far they're gonna separate out, or they're gonna compress due to drafting. It's gonna be the front's hoping that they're gonna get held up by traffic to get any sort of action. If not, they're just gonna be hot lapping the entire race, and I feel like they are just crossing fingers that everything is gonna be in each other's favor, hoping that they might get their opponents get held up when they might get clear air. But it's really up to the gods of multi-class to make sure that things go well.
Just the flow of the traffic, that's all you can really hope for. Here's our grid now for round 4, the first race of 2 for the Simufur Club Classic. At the top, it's Jordan Johnson once again in P1, Philip Beckevold sharing the grid on P2. Tell me if you've heard that before. Yoni Hagder in P3, tell me if you've heard that before. And then Sarah Van Fleetland lining up alongside, a pretty good lap from her as well. On the third row, we have Rafael Rodriguez and Oily Rags, so definitely the usual suspects, at least for so far. 7th and 8th, we have Ruben Samic and Luis Gordon are sharing a row there. And then in 9th and 10th, we have Tombstone, who that's not a good qualifying from Tombstone. They'll be looking to make a little bit of a recovery drive maybe in this race. And then Paschetti as well in P10 will also be wanting to look further up the grid, especially to secure a good starting position for race 2. In the MX5s, we've got Athena Leclerc on pole once again, sharing a row with Vigil the Dragon in P2. That is not something that I think that we've seen too often before, but it's definitely, Vigil's been up there before. Second row, we have Ari Mulfatova in second or in third, and Suzuka in fourth, and then Anton Burzbo. Not a great qualifying from someone that we've seen on pole in this class in previous rounds before. So again, probably looking to finish higher up the grid than they're starting. Dano Lee is in 6th alongside Matthew Alexandrenko in 7th, and it's Czar in P8 and Parker Olsen in P9 and Electroshock on the back, completing our top 10. We have also 6 TCRs starting in or among the MX5 class. You can see them heading around the rest of the field right now to join the back of the TCR grid, so it's good that we've gotten that sorted out just before everything gets going here. It looks like G-Fox, Foxington, and Futaku are both going to be starting from the pit lane here. They did not make the grid.
It's gonna be interesting. Not sure if that's by voluntary or they just forgot their countdown before pit exit. It's kind of why I don't join in last minute. Even in real life, we're all required to vacate. The pit crew's required to vacate the start grid 1 minute before start. That's usually when drivers get ready, start the engines. So it's a bit unfortunate that they're starting on the grid. Might be a blessing in disguise. Who knows? You might get caught up. You might in chaos. You might not. So it's a choice, but hopefully they're able to get out there as these drivers start to warm up. The MX5s don't warm up as much as the TCRs do. I'm not sure that's by choice or that's just how the tire model works. But either way, you don't want to spin out here. Even in public lobbies, you see drivers spinning out all the time. Accidents do happen during formation lap. Sometimes from a bit drivers warming up their tires a bit overly aggressive. As you can see here, drivers are braking, accelerating all the time. But as we come down to the longer straight on this track, the whole class is going to be weaving just to get the tires warm. The front tires will get very warm. I'm not sure if the rears will get warm enough. They might get a bit of the rears might step out a little bit just because of how cold the rears are. But here's hoping the best. No issues for all the drivers. It's gonna really suck if they do. Oh, as Pasquetti just goes wide there. I should just shut up because I've jinxed it already.
Yeah, getting those tires dirty before the session even starts probably not the best idea, but we're weaving in single file here. We're probably going to be going double file a little bit before this this chicane coming up, and it looks like the class is already forming up now, in fact. Just to remind you, we do have our special start procedure for our multi-class racing here. The TCRs are simply going to go on green, but the MX-5s are going to hold up until the leader, Athena Leclerc, starts to accelerate away and take the class away. And that is, she's going to have to do that within our start zone for today, which I'm not sure exactly where it is on this track, but the start will be up to her discretion. But the start won't be up to the discretion of Plasma here, who is going to have to try to get away from this grid as fast as they can. Green flag is waving in the back. We are racing in Road Atlanta. The grid already collapsing a little bit, not fanning out the way that they have in other ones. That's a great start from Plasma, though. They've absolutely gotten the jump on P2 and P3. They're heading up the grid, and in fact, it looks like Philip Beckevold has already lost a place and is defending from Sarah Van Fleetland here, and yeah, has fully lost that place now from Joni Hagner, who takes the opportunity into turn 1 to jump up into P2. That's a huge moment for that race, and we're already green flag racing as well. We're already through turn 1, in fact, in the MX-5 class. It's looking pretty clean here as well. The Spetzi is defending here, and it looks like Ari has jumped all the way up to P3 here, so that looks like a good start from them. There's more action happening further on down the grid. That's the number 17 there that's fighting for that position. 23 and the 220 are defending into the two little right-handers here before the main straight. It looks like they're still going to be side by side out of the exit of turn 7 here, and they're going to be heading all the way down this straight, and neither of them are going to be getting slipstream from that distance. So it's just going to be a matter of which one. We're going to see if you were right about that Honda Civic not having the power to make it down this straight. They're looking pretty neck and neck right now, although I think the Elantra might be starting to edge it out a little bit on the inside. They're going to be braking side by side down here as well, and it looks like the Honda's going to have the advantage, and the Honda's going to be able to defend. That's a great move there from Hakili Sametsa to hang that around the inside there.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see that the draft has already broken. Why is there a car in the grass? What's going on back there? But everyone else, the draft train is already happening for the MX-5s, but though not as close as I expected to be. Unfortunately, I think there was hardware issues at the back there with how the cars are skidding here and there. But already multiple groups separated in the MX-5 cars coming down into the back straight. Not as good, not something I was expecting. Pasquetti going out wide, I think mixing the braking point for turn 3 right now, rejoining as safely as they can on the outside of that turn 4. What seems to be the issue? They're cutting the corner? Seems like they're having technical issues here, but hopefully they are able to serve their slowdown and also rejoin safely into the pack. But that's a lot of positions lost for Pasquetti right there.
Yeah, third to last now for Pasquetti, and that car is really, really struggling. We're riding on board now with Dano Lee, who is currently in a nice little train here. There's Suzuka Takahashi behind as well as, or sorry, in front, as well as Ari Molfatova. But all of these cars have actually stayed very, very close to each other in our top 5 in this class here. So they're all just looking to draft and break away, which it looks like they've already done. Dano Lee trying their best to just stay on the back of this pack, and they're doing a pretty good job of it so far, but no moves really looking super possible there right now. We've got some groups splitting out in the TCR class as well. This little three-way group here. It's Mira Grunchins in the middle between Luis Adeline in front and Fabian Danihelka in the rear. So this is probably not the position that you want to be in, and I don't think Mira agrees with me because she's looking up the inside into turn 1. No move there, probably no move up into this braking zone either. It's a really, really dangerous place to try to overtake going into this blind corner, so nobody looking for it. And here we go. It's side by side here between Kelchan Ferret and Electroshock, or Anton Burzbo trying to get that done. And it looks like Anton might have not only lost the opportunity for that place, but there's more fighting going on behind. So that may open them up for a move at some point as well. This is Zar trying to get around Danak Kalmari in there, or sorry, that's Vossi in the TGR MX-5 there, just trying to stick it on the inside here of turn 1. That should be enough. Just being able to carry the speed on that inside, that is more than enough to be able to keep that position.
Yeah, turn 1 is definitely a corner of bravery. If you are able to go side by side, it's all about trusting the car on the inside to not push you out into the grass, or just having the guts to not to go toe to toe with them. Usually drivers will let go, but that's gonna lose you a bunch of time. It's going uphill anyways. Going uphill definitely will lose you a lot of time if you're to let the car in front go. So it's definitely if you're really desperate for it, you'll stick around with it. If not, it's just safer to just let go and have the position away. But you do lose a lot of time. Maybe you'll get the good draft here down in back straights, but that's what strategy in these kind of long sessions are supposed to do. That's 25 minutes. 4 minutes has passed in this, and the classes will start to collide soon. Not that fast yet, but Miro Grunshan's already running wide. Not sure what happened there, but definitely losing some positions coming down into turn 1. Definitely not the place to lose a lot of positions here. But hopefully they're able to keep within the draft. You might be able to get the positions back slowly at the back straight, but definitely some disadvantage there.
Slowly but surely, it's going to be. We're still centered on this fight here for Anton Burzbo. It was almost 3 wide there into the chicane. It turns into 2 wide all the way through it between Vossi and Kelchan, who are still fighting for this position. It looks like Kelchan's not able to get it, and that opens them up to a move from potentially Zar behind, but that looks like it's going to be the case, in fact. And Kelchan is going to drop 2 positions here in this little 4-way battle here. And while we weren't looking, it looked like Athena Leclerc had lost the lead up in the top of the MX-5 class. She has gotten it back from Vigil TD, so that is good for her race, just to immediately be able to get that back. And it looks like Kelchan is not going to be able to take a look up the inside of Zar here, and it looks like Zar is looking to be in some ways the faster car, at least in this particular phase of the race, but not in previous ones. The Crazy K9 now is defending from Paliku'i, who might still be experiencing some issues, but looks to be, at the very least, keeping the car on the road. That opens them up, in fact, to a move from Rachel Rapp behind, who will get in front, or that's Zim Frostma, I should say, the number 23 TCR there. So that is Paliku'i all the way down to 16th in class. There's only 2 more cars. You can see them in the background there. They are immediately going to get that position back, though, because that's a pretty big mistake there from Zim. They're going to go ahead and drop not 1 but 2 positions there. And now Paliku'i is going to have to fight against Rachel Rat, who is running over those cones there, thankfully not taking any of them with her. I know if you tend to collect cones here, a little bit of a bump there from behind from Paliku'i. Had a little bit of an overrun going into the S's, and that is not really the place where you want to be expressing your speed advantage over a car in front, because stuff like that definitely tends to happen. They're going to go side by side here just for a very brief moment into turn 6 and not so much into turn 7. I think Paliku'i is just going to try to set up as good of a run as they can on the Crazy K9 into the main straight, and it looks like they've done so. Maybe a little bit of, not really blocking, just sort of, putting their car in the right place to stop that run for Paliku'i. Pretty intelligent move there from Danielle Falsetta, who we've seen put on some pretty good defensive shows in the past. And this looks like Paliku'i's going to be looking to the inside, looking to the outside. Not going to find a way around this time. But maybe they will.
That's definitely a cut and definitely a slowdown. Make sure you go to the side before you serve the slowdown, but that's definitely going to be a disadvantage for Rachel Rat, as other cars are already catching up. They might lose a bit of position here, but they might just hold on to it. But Paliku'i already far ahead from the pack behind. I think that's going to be a breath of fresh air for Paliku'i, as the back's going to fight for a little bit. Things might slow down. They have the MX-5 in the middle to hold things behind as well, so it's definitely going to be more of a breather for them as the rest start to fight for this position. What was that? Given that I think there is a little bit of bumper damage, I think they might have ran into the back of Rachel Rat right there, and it's just a little bit of chaos as the session starts to settle down. As Ari here on the move, maybe gets a move done on the car in front, maybe doesn't. Oh, it's gonna be side by side down into turn 10 A and B. Very nice move, but that's gonna lose them a lot of time. Not sure that's a slowdown served by the green car there, but they're all coming down into the start finish straight. Suzuka's the P4 there. They're all gonna fight for it, but that's gonna be a slot in for the first 3 cars, and it's gonna be a fight for this turn 1. It's gonna be side by side, maybe yes, no, backed out just in time, but it's gonna be close fighting for the top 5 position still right here.
Absolute chaos here for the top 5. It's 2x2 behind Athena Leclerc, who is going to take every opportunity that they can to try to break away from this group. That's Ari Molfatova on the grass, trying to make this move stick and still not making it stick. Suzuka's gotten in front of Dano Lee there for P4, so that's thankfully shaken itself out. And it looks like that's a car off. That's Vigil TD off. At the at the exit of turn 5, it looked like, and that may have been a position lost there. Oh no, that was a position lost for Ari, who now is playing catch up here, trying to get back to Athena Leclerc, who just a few moments ago they were fighting for the lead of this race. It looks like we're a little bit spread out now, so maybe a little bit of a breather coming up, but depending on how much fighting gets done, especially up in the front, it tends to compress this whole pack together. So we'll see if anything else happens, but it's looking like it's calmed down at least a little bit for now.
Calm down just a little bit, but the chaos still happens here. Okay, I think it's gonna be still a lot of fighting here, as you can see here. Fabian fighting really hard for their position here. It's still side by side in TCR. Is that 3-1 into the corner? I think that is, but all of them surviving. It's not gonna be nice coming in the back straight. Some cars might try to side draft a little bit here and there, but it's not gonna be fun. I think the cars behind might get held up a little bit. They should really help each other bomb drafting. That might push them away from the pack, but I don't think they are thinking about this when there's only 50 minutes remaining in this race.
This is a great view from the inside of Mira Grenchen's the Hyundai here, just looking at any opportunity to get around any of these 3 cars who are fighting tooth and nail for these positions here in the mid pack of the TCR field. They're going to be heading side by side still down the hill. It looks like Hakio Izumetsu is just going to be able to get a little bit of a better run here than the car in front, and maybe both of the cars in front. They're just blocked off, I think, a little bit by that lapping MX-5 that sort of killed that run just a little bit. But there's nothing really looking up here into turn 3, so they're going to have to try again at some point. But take a look at everything behind Luis Adeline here, who is just trying to hold on to the top spot of this little group here. It's going to be crucial to get this corner right, and it looks like she's just about, but maybe a little bit of a better run there from Hakio Izumetsu, who is going to be looking down the inside right now, not quite committing to it the way that you need to, but I think if they had committed any more to it, it probably would have been contact between the 2 cars. So they're going to be looking for a move down the main straight here, and once again, we are looking for that overspeed difference to see if that Honda Civic is going to be able to get that move done. Meanwhile, it's Athena Leclerc trying to hold off Vigil, who has caught up again. Athena just on the back foot in this race, but always manages to find a way to get back in front. Vigil certainly looks like the faster car, and certainly looks like the faster car going into turn 1 right now. That's Plasma, who is going to be lapping this group fairly soon, is going to be looking for a way around, and is going to be looking for it into turn 3. Just about the best place that you can look for it, but that's going to be Vigil around and getting at the back of all of this. Somehow manages to collect the car, but that is a huge setback for the car that has looked the strongest of this group of 5 basically the entire race. And meanwhile, Philip Beckavold is trying to hold off Yoni Hagner for P2, has somehow managed to get that position back from when they lost it at the start of this race, remember? And now it looks like Athena is going to have to fight to keep the Spezia behind now as well. Is not going to have to defend into turn 6, maybe into turn 7, but if that car is smart, they'll be looking to get a move done on the straight here. And I am trying to look for any signs of damage here from the TGR MX-5, but it looks okay. Maybe just a tiny bit of a dent on the front fender there, but nothing that should affect her too much, thankfully.
I don't think there's much damage to be done on that car, but it's definitely a lot of time damage that's been done to Vigil. They have to basically sort themselves out and climb back into Athena in 10 minutes. I think it's definitely possible if they're strong enough, but you gotta remember, everyone in front of them still wants the position. Suzuka, Daniel Lee, Ari, they all want the positions. When Vigil's gone, they definitely want to make sure they defend with all their might. It's all up to Vigil to be able to overtake them with maybe the TCR is helping them holding up the gang, but it's gonna be chaos right here as the pack starts to merge in, and it's gonna be chaos because the front's fighting, the back's fighting, everyone's fighting. It's really gonna be a breather. And Athena Claire losing position here to Ari. Ari's already in front of them, but will Athena block them off for turn 3? Maybe yes, just cut them off just in time. Ari's definitely not gonna be happy about this, but what can they do? They're gonna continue on, making sure survival is the key. Wolf in their yellow flag I'm seeing here. Not sure what's happened there with a few drivers behind there, but it's definitely chaos right here as Ari's still holding Athena Leclerc holding on to P1. Ari having a little bit of setback with the TCRs in here. They definitely want to survive with all this, but it is what it is. They have to, put their foot down, make sure they keep within the draft, maybe take the TCR's draft if they can. But the draft is definitely what's keeping them in the train. I definitely don't want to lose it all. Athena Leclerc's just gonna run with all of this.
Yeah, great racing from both sides of that little battle there. First, that amazing switch back into turn 1 for Ari that I thought for sure was going to get the move down into turn 3. But then Athena with that perfectly placed squeeze to the apex there. There's just nothing that Ari could do about it. And there's also nothing that Ari could do about that particular run of traffic, which looks to have separated them a little bit, 0.7 of a second now between those cars, which were breathing down each other's necks just a few corners ago. So not really what Ari was looking for from the traffic today, but we've definitely seen her be the faster car out of those two previously in this race before, so I have no doubt that she'll be able to get back up there again. Mira Grunchins is still trying to get this move done on Luis Adeline. This is for P13 in class. Pasquetti right in front of these two has created just a little bit of a gap, but not very much. Luis has been able to put in a couple of good laps here. That's the 19 MX-5. That's I'm not sure exactly which one that is, but I think it was one of the ones that was Dano Lee. That was one of the cars that was involved in that top 5 battle for the lead, is now at the back of that little battle, and Vigil has now 5 seconds to make up to the next car as well. We have a group of 3 here. This is Vossi, who is trying to hold off Anton Burzbo and Czar for this would be P8 in class that they're defending from at the moment. Kelchan at the moment that we're coming on as well. And this is pretty close now between Anton Burzbo and Vossi, who is just heading into turn 5 right now. Quite a bit of apex taken there. Might have maybe slowed him down just a little bit. You want to try to cut off that corner as much as possible, obviously, but it's looking like we're going to maybe get a fight for the lead here in the TCR class, a 3-way fight maybe even. Yoni Hagner and Philip Beckevold have been trading places, trading blows throughout most of this race at least, but with 10 minutes to go, it looks like they've both caught up to Plasma here, so we may see yet some more entertaining defending here from Plasma for the last little bit of this one.
Yeah,
we have another fight for the lead.
Things are still heading up. Yeah, Ari is still currently right at the back of Athena Claire here again. Maybe they're gonna take another move into turn 1. No, Athena Claire covers the inside, but the TCRs behind are not happy that the cars are there. That's also a fight for the. That's gonna be a T-bone. Oh no, that's a car gone. Whose car is that? I didn't even notice.
That was Luis Adeline.
Oh, that's Luis. That's unfortunate for Ari, but they have to continue on. That's definitely unfortunate for the cars to just swipe in on that. They definitely didn't expect the car to understeer that hard, but unfortunately, that's going to push Ari a few positions back for being so shaken up. But that just means Vigil's climbed another position. That's just going to be easy pickings for Vigil. Like I said, he just got to make sure that they stay steady. They just keep working on it, and they will definitely catch up back to Athena Leclerc. That's going to be unfortunate. We're going to look back into it and see what happened there for Luis Adeline right there.
Yeah, gosh, it was just such bad luck with these 2 cars going side by side here for the lead of this race. I think it might have been Luis doing it to herself a little bit, just understeering a little bit into the front fender of that MX-5. I don't think there was very much that Ari could do about that. But yeah, as you said, it's now Vigil who is fighting for P2 once again, has made the fight all the way back up into the position that they started this race in at the beginning after getting dropped down 4 places. So an amazing recovery drive for 10 minutes for that car. And now they only have about 2 seconds to go with that move slam dunk done into the chicane. Only about 2 seconds to go until they catch back up to Athena. So we'll see if that ends up turning into anything by the end of this race. From the pace that we've seen so far from this car, I think we should be expecting some fireworks before the end.
yeah, we'll see how that goes well. But right now, number 584 right here, fighting for position with Daniel Lee. I'm not sure if they're gonna make the move done. Seems like Daniel is gonna be on the outside, but the TCR is gonna be there in the middle, and that's gonna be contact. They're gonna go sideways. Unfortunately, the TCR just placed at the wrong place, wrong time. That's gonna spin Daniel Lee out. That's gonna be more positions lost by Daniel, but that's unfortunate for the 584 car. Just gonna either they're gonna just continue on and just take the penalty, or it's gonna be a racing incident. I think that's gonna be up to the stewards to decide. But right now, that's gonna be put aside. Anton Busbrodo in front of Vossi Tigris, as well as Zar, the lead of the pack, with some little bit of front bumper damage. Not sure what it has, given that contact, but they're right now fighting for their lives right now, holding the position. Oh, battle for the lead right now. Plasma is still holding on. I think at this point, with Philip having the draft for Plasma, I think Yoni is gonna slightly pull back a little bit, but it's really up to Philip to decide if they really want to basically hinder Plasma so both of them can fight with Plasma, or they want to maybe try to push Plasma forward just a little bit just to get Yoni away from the picture. I think that's really up to Philip's planning here and see what's more beneficial to them. I think usually they definitely want to hold it up. I think Plasma's getting a little bit pressured, going a little bit wide there, and it's definitely going to lose a little bit of time coming down into these two corners, but nothing has stopped Plasma from fighting to the bitter end. So we'll see how this shapes up down into the back straight. The front bumper of Philip is getting closer and closer, but we'll see how strong the draft is here at the straights.
Philip's last lap, 127.74. Plasma's last lap, 127.74. These cars are exactly matched on pace right now, down to the hundredth of a second, and it looks like this is going to be the move on for Philip Beckevold. He goes to the inside. They're both breaking into the turn here. Plasma trying to break late and hold it around the outside, which becomes the inside for the second part of the chicane. They are still side by side, heading down the hill now through the Fox Factory sign, and I think Plasma's probably going to be able to hang on to this, and it looks like, yeah, they're going to just back out. That's given the opportunity to Yoni Hagner, though, who has, in fact, pulled onto the back of this group. Maybe not an opportunity here into turn one. We've seen cars understeer and hit each other out wide into this corner so many times. This group of three manages to stay well behaved through that one, and I think they're just going to try to settle into status quo now. Philip is going to have to choose their moments a little bit better than that cup car that they're both going to have to get around, thankfully ducking out of the way and not disrupting this fight too much. Maybe a little bit of a difference there for Yoni Hagner there, who's going to have to push alongside there. You know who else is pushing somebody else is Athena, who is pushing Vigil TD down the straight now, trying to duck out to the outside. So not only was Vigil able to get around, but is now having to defend this position, goes to the inside. Athena goes to the outside. It's going to become the inside, and I don't think she's going to be able to get the speed to be able to do that. That was very well held there from Vigil TD, who has been looking like the stronger car, and now hopefully they should be able to just leg out and use their pace advantage to be able to pull away from this group, because look right behind, it's Ari Molvatova and Suzuka going at it once again. These two have come together previously in this race before, and will probably be seeing it again, not into turn one necessarily, maybe into turn three, but it doesn't look like it's going to be quite enough, at least for now. But this is definitely not so much the place that Ari wants to be right in this particular moment. I think Ari would want to probably start on the second row of the next race at least, so if they can get around Suzuka, that would be huge for her.
Yeah, I think Ari also has unfinished scores to settle with Athena Leclerc, so the faster they can overtake Suzuka, the more they'll catch up to Athena Leclerc. I think they really want to be ahead of Athena Leclerc, regardless of what position they are, just to settle some scores. But right now, Suzuka in the middle, the pace difference is about a second from just last lap alone, so they definitely have the pace to do it. It's more of where to do it. I think Suzuka, from what I've seen this race, they're a bit more chill in terms of fighting for positions. They definitely want to let people by and just want to finish this race as eventless as possible. I think that has shown in this race, and they definitely are taking advantage of people just messing up behind them. And I think with enough planning, I think that's gonna make Suzuka not have as much time as possible, given that they know they're not as fast as the people they're fighting. But it's definitely what they're doing right now, and two positions have changed. Ari is now in P3, Vigil now back into P2, and Tina Claire now back into P1, and the fight's going to continue on for the next 2 minutes. I just realized the clock, there's only a couple of laps remaining into this race. They gotta have to figure out where they want to be at the last lap. If not, things will go down poorly for them if they don't plan it out right. And it's right now, Vigil and Athena Claire, it's not stop fighting. They have to really plan out who's going to be the last one to draft. If not, things are going to mess up for their strategy. Oh my god.
We
and
may
that's
play
P1
games
for
with the
TCR.
draft, but here goes the fight for P1 in this race. It's Plasma
Oh my
trying to keep ahead of Yoni Hagner now, who is the challenger in the last minute of this race. It's going to be this lap and one more, given that Plasma just now crossed the line. A little bit of a moment there with that MX-5, but thankfully, nothing really happening there except for the fact that Philip has gotten caught behind that MX-5, and that has dropped them off the back of that quite a bit. Meanwhile, up into this is turn 6 and turn 7. Vigil is going to hold it around the outside. That's an incredible move from Vigil TD, and we'll see if they're able to hold it into around turn 7. No, they're going to drop behind, and they're going to try to use the draft now, and Ari is now well and firmly in the fight for the lead of this race now. Suzuka has about a second of a gap between these two. So depending on how much they fight on this last lap, they may be able to get back in this one, but for now it's
a
looking like
push.
yeah, and Ari is definitely choosing who they're going to want to work with for this little battle here, thinking maybe that she might not be able to beat Vigil, but she may be able to beat Athena by the end of this. A little bit of contact there between the two of them, but he's just going to get out in front, and through goes Ari in the exit of the chicane. She is up into the lead for the final lap of this race, and she's gonna have
Yoni's
some work
in the
to
pits.
do to fight off these two. Who's in the pits?
Yoni's in the pits. They were P2. They ran out of fuel, I think.
Might have run out of fuel, yeah, exactly, or maybe have gotten some damage, so now it's going to be pretty smooth sailing here for Plasma, thankfully for them, but they're catching up to the back of this group, so there may be some late drama for this battle for the lead. By the way, remember how I said Suzuka was far off the back of this group? Nope, they're right there with the rest of them. It's still a four-horse race here for the final bit of the MX-5 grid. Have we seen the white flag yet? I'm not 100% sure. I think we have seen it. But yeah, Ari is going to get the long end of the stick on that on that traffic there, thankfully. But now Philip Beckvold is trying to get around these two as well, and I think Vigil, that might have put them out of the fight. And Ari is now maybe just going to have to figure out how to defend from Athena here. They're going to head down the straight one more time. It's going to be very, very, very hard for Ari to finish in first place here, what with the power of the slipstream. We're already seeing it. Athena's already alongside. It might be one position lost for Ari. It might be two positions lost, depending on where Vigil ends up. I don't think they're going to quite get there, but these two are going to get there. They're going to be side by side. A little bit of a bump heading into the braking zone, and Ari braking late, looking for the switchback, braking early, looking for the switchback again, and just a little bit of a bump from behind, and that is just going to careen her into the outside of Athena for the final corner of this race. And I think that's going to be Athena crossing the line. First, second, third, fourth for the MX-5 class. It's Athena on top. Ari in second, a great drive from her. Very opportunistic moves there. Some pretty close finishes from behind as well for the podium of this race. The podium overall, I should say. Incredible finish there for the top four. It's Vigil sharing the final step of the podium, and Suzuka in fourth. Also a great drive from them. But Plasma, it turns out, after getting hounded for most of the first part of that race, didn't really need to do too much on the last lap. Just get through some traffic and you're good.
And Philip now pushing Plasma a little bit here and there, but it's definitely the last few laps was definitely chaotic. We saw Philip being P2, then because of the traffic, they basically fall back into P3, and Yoni basically had it, but unfortunately not sure why Yoni had to go into the pits. I'm suspecting they ran out of fuel because I don't see the meatball fight coming out for them, so definitely really, really pushing it, and I think Plasma here running out of fuel because Philip's pushing them, but it's definitely interesting. This race has shown us that Road Atlanta is chaotic as heck, and I'm not sure if I'm ready for race 2.
I think what we've learned is that it's going to be mind games, especially in the last couple of seconds of the race, the last couple of laps. I think, based on what we saw from there, it's probably to your advantage to be in second rather than first on the final lap of the race. So I think that's probably what we're going to be seeing. Here's our results from Heat 1 now. We do have Jordan on top, followed by Philip Beckevold in P2, Sarah Van Vliepelen doing a really good job finishing in P3 from their position on the grid. Rafael Rodriguez finishing in P4, Starkey taking in P5. That's a good finish for the Echo driver, as well as Luis Gordon, who ended up recovering maybe from that crash that we saw up into P6. Then it's Toomey in P7 and Samic in P8. Joni Hagner and Danny Helke finishing out our top 10 in the TCRs. So that is how we will line up for the second race as well. Remember, the results of this race determine the grid for the next one. And so because of that, the grid is going to take a look at the gaps between first, second, third, and fourth there. That was about what we were seeing there. 3.5 tenths of a second separating them. Athena Leclerc ended up in first, only 700ths of a second ahead of Ari Multitova in P2, in a great position to start this race. And then Vigil TD in P3 right behind them. We've seen some good pace. Maybe they'll be able to use it a little bit better in this next one, find those opportunities. Suzuka in P4 also going to be looking to make some moves in the first parts of this one. Electroshock in P5 and Matthew Alexandrenko, who I think started pretty far down the grid. I think that was a good finish from them. And then Dan O'Lee, of course, in P7 and P8 belongs to Vossi after all of that fighting that we saw earlier on. Anton Bursbo couldn't get around, so they'll start in P9, and Eclipse will start in P10.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. That fight was everything. That fight, as you can see here, the fight for the very end. Oh, it was just, that overtake was just amazing. Just pushing Ari all the way, pushing Athena Leclerc all the way forward, just so you can get the two positions. That was. I think that was the best overtake this season.
Perfectly timed switchback. You love to see it, absolutely. Yeah, let's take a look at this though. We were looking for, maybe it's a little bit of rubbing there between Plasma and Philip, which then opened up the opportunity for Joni Hagner to get alongside as well. And yeah, look at all of these cars. Just this is not the place where you want to be catching those. And yeah, I mean, somebody is going to have to go off at that point. I mean, what is that? Like 5 or 6 cars don't all fit into that corner at the same part of the racetrack. So yeah, it's just not enough room for everybody at the end of the day.
Yeah, and this side by side for Athena Leclerc as well as Visual TD. The fight here, the tap. Yeah, unfortunate tap there for the corner for 23, and nice recovery there. That has definitely made them sure that they stick within the podium positions, and definitely I think that save definitely paid off, because right now they have points for P2 instead of being in the pits, and definitely, although has held up some TCR cars, kind of part of racing, I assume. Yeah, Pascati here, not sure what's going on there, but they definitely had issues with the car. Hopefully they got better grips of what's happened recently. Hopefully no issues for race 2, but right now they should be about getting ready to get themselves prepared for the start. Hopefully they got their fuel pressures, setup changes, everything should be all right.
It did look like Pasquetti went ahead and got more settled in like towards the end of that race. Looked like whatever issues they were running into hopefully were solved. So yeah, here we are. We are in the twilight now at Road Atlanta. This is going to be a little bit of a time of day change for our second race here. The sun has just set. It's 8 p.m. here at Road Atlanta, and this should make for well, we'll see, because there are really no floodlights around this track at all. You can definitely still see the cars. It's not too hard to see everybody, but everybody's got their headlights on now as we roll away for the second race of 2 today. We have a little bit of chatter in the chat. Cars wondering which side of the grid that the MX5 leader Athena Leclerc is going to be starting on. I would imagine the inside. I can only imagine. But of course, the P1 here at Road Atlanta takes the outside of turn 1, so it does make for a little bit of a curveball here towards the start of our race. So We'll see what happens. I mean, we didn't really see too much rubbing happen until later on in that race, so it wasn't too bad on the actual start, which was good. Everybody mostly behaving themselves, so hopefully we'll see that again. But there are certainly some cars who have taken a step backwards after that first race who are going to be looking to get moves done early, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely gonna see what happens here. Hopefully, no more cars going into the grass at formation lap. But I don't know, because you already have one start from race one. Some drivers might get a bit more bold, and that's when chaos starts to happen for certain drivers. So, sometimes you really want to make sure that you don't go fall into the trap of being a bit too comfortable here racing with your peers. Sometimes you definitely can fall into it. Some of the cars are catching up to the class pack that they're supposed to be in. Athena Leclerc feels like a bit too close to the TCR cars, but at the same time, you kind of want to in this race because you're not catching up to the cars in front anyways. You want to make sure that you extend the amount of time that you are in clear air by just being close to the leader pack as much as possible. I feel like that's kind of a good idea, good strategy, because you kind of want to make sure that they take a bit longer before they catch up to the back of the pack for the slower class. But at the same time, if you're too close, chaos in front might affect you as well. So it's definitely a dice throw in terms of your strategy. But I feel like as a second class driver, I might want to actually be as close to the lead as possible, I feel.
Yeah, it's an interesting calculation to make for sure. It's worth noting we are down one TCR from when we started. Futaku has decided to disconnect and not take part in this one, so we will see what happens here as the remaining TCRs get going onto the final few corners of the racetrack. They're heading down the hill now in the sunset, in the twilight. And we are green flag here already. Actually, that is pretty surprising.
And here we go.
Sure. Yep. So here we go here onto the main straight. And it looks like another good start there from Plasma. Philip already having to defend, it looks like, from the Spezia of Sarah Van Fleetland, who is looking to make that place up immediately on Rafael Rodriguez and looks in a pretty strong position to do so. Is going to be on the inside for the run-up to turn 3. Not able to get the speed, though. Rafael Rodriguez able to hang it around the outside there. That was very, very well held. And Athena Leclerc is away and has blown past the rest of the field here. No problems at all having to defend there through turn 1 or turn 3 for that matter, but Matthew Alexandrenko looking to get some moves done as well on Electroshock. It looks like they have gotten that move done. So a little bit of action going on behind as well. A few cars side by side. That's Vossi who's looking to take advantage here. There's a lot of gravel being kicked up on the exit of turn 5. I wonder if a car has gone off. It looks like we have a TCR stationary on the exit of turn 5. That's Daniel Taverner, or Oily Rags, I should say, who is stationary and has taken quite a hit on that TCR. These TCRs not as robust as the MX-5, so maybe looking at quite a bit of damage there. But this is going to be Kelchan Ferret, who is looking to make a move on Anton Bursbo. We've seen this fight before. We've seen it in the first part of the race today, but Parker Olsen behind as well is looking to defend as well, with side-by-side between Mira Grunchins and Paschetti, who has managed to make that move done. Whatever hardware issues they were running into, they look pretty well solved now because they're moving their way up the field. They're up 2 places from where they started already.
Yeah, definitely people trying to get used to what they're expecting in this track. Unfortunately, some issues between the drivers has caused some incidents to happen in the back, but the rest of the field still continuing to fight on. Right now, Zar's fighting positions with Parker Olsen. I'm not sure who's going to be in front. Parker Olsen's going to be the one in front right now, but drivers are kind of, not fighting as hard as they need to be right now because they want to make sure that things are settled down before they start fighting hard. And it's definitely interesting. We're going to look back at what happens to the TCR in a bit. Let's see what has happened here. Going down into turn 5. Have they overcooked it just a little bit, I assume? Let's see. They definitely has overcooked it. Like I remember, like I said. Oh, and they bumped someone. The number 5 car has bumped into Starkey right there, and that definitely has caused some damage to that car, unfortunately. But I was going to say, that's another car.
Geez.
What happened to Kao Shen? That's the whole front bumper gone.
That's the whole front part of the car gone. That's if this was real life, that thing would be leaking oil all over the place. It would not be drivable. I don't know how Kelchan could even see out of the front windshield. I think that car is probably just going to have to pull off to the side because that is a really, really unsafe way to be driving around here. I can't imagine they could see very much over that popped hood. So, I mean, they're driving around okay. I'm not really sure how, but like somehow they're able to like navigate the car around. So they'll be trying to pull into the pits and get that fast repair done. But it looks like it's going to be an incident between Anton Burzbo and
Oh no.
oh yeah. So
Oh,
the
no.
hit from you know, Anton Burzbo getting into Vossi and spinning around, and then just Kelchan, just a complete innocent bystander in that one, unfortunately gets the worst of it.
Yeah, unfortunately for Kelchan, I think Kelchan definitely has to pit it, and Tom Burzbo has towed back into the pits. Unfortunately for some drivers here, that definitely means that it's going to be on a little bit setback, but doesn't mean that the race is over. They still have time to basically come back in. They do have a fast repair after all, so they definitely can come back and get some points, but it's more of do they want to continue on. It is a pretty hard fight here to catch up with the pack here. So it's definitely, well, we'll see how they go. But Vossi here fighting really hard with Electroshock side by side coming into turn 3. Vossi still hangs on for that position right now. It's going to be up to Electroshock to find a way to get past them. Maybe in the max straight, but the fighting there definitely not the best move to do it on turn 3 because you really lose a bunch of time here against the pack. So we'll see how they go. But right now, Wolfit as well. Never mind. We'll go back to Zeem side by side with who's this? Lewis Adelaide. Oh, that's gonna be a hit, and it's gonna be. Oh, will they skid across turn 10? And that's gonna be unfortunate. I think they definitely wasn't expecting that, but that's gonna be a car out. Oh, it's gonna be rejoining into the apex, and that's gonna be another car. That's unfortunate. Oh, who's that? That's G-Fox. Oh no, and that's the rear pushed in. Oh, that's
rejoined safely, Luis. Look, I know that it's been a frustrating day for Luis. That's the second time that she's been spun out today, but let's please resafe jointly. I really, I would really appreciate it if we could do that. We're going to get back to this fight for the lead of the race. Sarah Van Fleetland, who started this race in P3, had that position taken off of her for P4, is now having to defend from Yoni Hagner, who has made up some positions and is all the way into P5 now. Remember, they did have to start this race pretty far back, given that they didn't quite finish the last one, had to come in for fuel or some other reason, but has made up a lot of positions here and is looking to get around. Luis is going to, or this is Luis Gordon, I should say, is going to be trying to see if they can find any sort of way around either of these two cars. We'll see what happens here as they both get around the MX-5. All three of them get around the MX-5. In fact, that looked really well held there from Sarah Van Fleetland to be able to hold it on the outside. And that will be her safe for at least another lap, although Yoni has been looking very, very pacey just all day today. So I imagine that she's going to be under pressure before too long once again.
Yeah, looking back at this, not sure what has happened there. I think they got a bit of a tap at the back of Zeem, I think, from that one. But it looks like going side by side down into this corner here should be alright until I think. Oh no, Zeem wanted to cut back, and I think that has took Luis, and that's definitely unfortunate for them. That is definitely not ideal, but that rejoin though.
It just sort of drifted into each other on the straight there, and then yeah, I mean that. You're pointed the wrong way down the racetrack. You can see with your eyes that car is coming, but I'm not going to talk about it anymore because we have a fight to talk about. It's Visual TD on Ari Molfatova. We've seen these two come together in a very real way in the first part of this race, but we'll see them come together here once again. Both of them trying to make their way back up to Athena, who has been holding the lead of this race pretty comfortably since the jump. Any amount of fighting that these two do will, of course, play into her hands. So I wonder if, based on the information that both of these drivers have from the last race, if they're going to be more willing to work together, or if Vigil is going to think that they are the faster car and should have a better chance of getting up to Athena. And if Ari wants to work with them, then fine. But first of all, you know, maybe they're thinking that they need to get around. That looks like another car off the road a little bit there at the exit of turn 5. It is, in fact, Athena going off a little bit. The first mistake that we've seen from her so far in this race, and that is going to bring them together once again. So right when she thought that she had a break from these two, she's going to get right back in the weeds with them once again.
I was gonna say Visual might want to push Ari just so that he can be close to Athena and Claire, but right now they're just close to within drafting range. I don't think any help is needed, I guess, but it's up to Ari to make the draft. It seems like Ari's not really taking advantage of the draft fully though, so we'll see how they will do it. But that's gonna be a TCR card right behind trying to make the move on them though. But Vigil, very side by side with Ari, they definitely don't want to work with Ari for this move, but unfortunately right now it's gonna be interesting. Luckily Athena Claire's not getting affected by this overtake by the TCR, but it's definitely gonna be a little bit sketchy coming down into the back straight, front straight. I mean, but it's definitely still clear, I assume. Yeah, and it's gonna be clear for the fight for the lead again for now. But as you can see here, more TCR cars are catching up, so definitely anyone's game. Just want to make sure that they are clean. It's all about making sure you don't get affected. It's all part of the game here.
Yeah, nice clean move from Vigil there into the chicane. That's about as textbook as it gets down into there. It's going to be a TCR on the inside of the Spezi MX-5, so that is going to be a setback as well. So Vigil nice and comfortably away from the rest of those cars behind now, and so will be basically clear to just push forward and not have to look in their rear view too much. A little bit off the road there for Ari, but I think that was just about within track limits for her. She's going to have to start worrying about Suzuka here a little bit, but maybe they'll have to worry about Matthew Alexandrenko as well, who is fighting for that P4 position with Suzuka as we speak. Athena may be getting almost held up a little bit by the TCR through those two corners. We see those cornering speeds come together in those really slow right-handers. So that is the place where you're going to get held up if it's going to happen. But somebody got held up. It was Ari, who is now having to fully defend from not only Suzuka, but also Matthew behind. It's going to be very, very close to 3 wide. And there's Dano Lee as well, looking to maybe take advantage in the background. She's already dropped a position from Suzuka, who is going to just get ahead and make that work. They're going to collapse into single file, but no, it's going to be Suzuka all the way around here. Unfortunately, Ari just trying to get on the gas as fast as she could, and unfortunately it was faster than Suzuka was able to, trying to get that move done, and that is going to be it, I think, for Suzuka's chance at a podium for this race. Maybe if they could push back up and get back up to this group, but look how close Vigil has gotten to the back of Athena in just these last couple of laps.
Yeah, it's definitely really up to anyone's game. You gotta make sure that you stay committed to it. Sometimes people start to relax as the chances go away, but I can see here anything's possible. Just Ari going wide a little bit has caused this entire cascading effect of more chaos, and definitely has led to Ari just losing a lot more positions here. So definitely just gotta make sure everything stays alive here. Right now though, we're looking back at Yoni trying to make an overtake in front of Rafael. So coming down here side by side into the start finish straight. What's gonna happen here? But Yoni takes a position right now. Yoni's in P3, definitely getting able to fight for P3 now. But Yoni's gonna be back into the picture for the fight, and it's gonna be soon enough before they catch up to Philip Backavolt as well as Jordan Johnson in front.
Here's Dano Lee looking to make this move on Matthew Alexandrenko. These two have been pretty well stuck to each other for most of both of these races, as well as we're getting close to our halfway point here. Yoni trying to get around this whole group up here as well, and Ari is looking to recover after that bit of a little bit of damage there. It looks like almost 3 wide here into the chicane, but it's not going to be. It's just going to be 2 wide. Matthew on the outside, excuse me, it turns into the inside, and that is going to be Matthew getting that position done, but it's not done yet because Dano is looking to probably lose a second position here. They're side by side through the final corner. Oh gosh, that is always so scary. 2 cars going through there, 3 cars almost if you consider the TCRs on the outside of that corner as well. Hopefully nobody understeers into anybody here heading into turn 1, and it looks like everybody gets done okay. But Dano looks like they have a hell of a switchback on here, and they're looking to take advantage of it, but no, it doesn't look like there's going to be enough room for him. It looks like going into turn 3 there, and I think they're just going to have to settle with being at the back of this group despite looking really, really racy at this stage of the race.
Yeah, everyone's fighting for their life right now, but the one to basically win out of all this was Ari, basically getting away from the rest of them at the back. But definitely Lewis Goran basically taking the most disadvantage of all this. Definitely lost a bunch of time, but they definitely have to make sure they survive, because you basically seen it. Survival is key no matter what, you maybe lose a position here and there, but someone's gonna mess it up somewhere else later, and you're gonna get that position back. So why not just take it easy, lose a couple of seconds, everyone's happy at the end of the day. I think that's what Lewis is doing right now, but it's definitely not the case for most people that are trying to get positions right now. And Raphael is definitely getting hounded by Sarah Van Vieplen behind them. So the pace gap is about here and there, but with the draft in front of them, Sarah might have a move on Raphael soon. So definitely have to stick to this one.
Yeah, they are starting to open up the gaps a little bit, especially at the front of the field. Plasma is almost 3 seconds away from the rest of the group, and then it's even farther back from there, from Philip to Yoni, who has a pretty comfortable gap to these two behind. This is the closest fight that we're seeing right now in this top 5. Sarah a little bit on the back foot in this race. Remember, she started in 3rd, so she's dropped down 2 positions from these two, who have been looking like the faster cars at this stage of the race, even though, she looked really, really fast in the first part. She's going to just try to follow through in the S's here and try to get the best exit that she can through turn 5. Doesn't look comfortable through that turn 5 there. Missed the apex just a little bit, and that's going to lose her quite a bit of speed on the run down to turns 6 and 7, and that is going to open up the gap nice and comfortable for Rafael Rodriguez, who is just going to continue to try to push up, trying to look forward instead of looking back. He knows that he has the pace, at least on Sarah, at least for these last couple of laps, so should be able to look forward. We're going to take you back to a incident here. It was Ruben Sandwich on Louise Gordon here in front, and Louise, just coming off of the track a little bit there, making a bit of a mistake on her own, and that just opened up the door perfectly for Ruben to get all the way through.
Yeah, and definitely, I think the pace gap kind of comes down to that Sarah's just not as familiar at this track, I assume. They definitely are a bit newer to this track. I don't think from the time I've known them, I've never seen them ran Petit Le Mans, so maybe the lack of track time definitely has made them not as comfortable here in racing, especially blind, given that you have a car in front of you. But it definitely has caused them to lose a bit of time down into Sector 1 and Sector 2. But right now, the fight for P3 right now, and it's definitely P4, sorry, and it's gonna be Vossi, Matthew, as well as Daniel Lee. The fight is still ongoing right now with Matthew in front, getting hounded by Daniel Lee. On the outside here, will the switchback happen? No, they're just gonna keep Matthew on the inside. I think Daniel Lee's gonna have the position. Vossi though might slip in for a third position, but no, Daniel Lee's gonna be sticking in front. But Matthew has the position for turn 3, and there's gonna be an incident. All three of them. Matthew's the one that survived all of this.
Matthew with the hit and run on both of them, unfortunately. I don't think it was intentional at all, but it's funny that who caused the incident was the one who ended up getting away from it the cleanest there. Yeah, that's just a spin from both of them. They should be able to get back into the race at the very least, but yeah, it's really unfortunate. It does mean a lot of positions gained for the folks behind. Look at Parker Olsen all the way up into P5 in class, and is not too far away from the back of Matthew for P4, so looking like a much better race here for Parker than in the last one. You can see Vossi here just trying to recover as well, trying to get onto the back of Suzuka here, who has been looking like just had a nice little quiet race, at least so far. A couple of battles here and there, but just really kind of keeping their head down a little bit more, and it's worked out at least so far. But definitely it looks like in terms of the pace, Suzuka is probably just a little bit off from there. Oh, just a little bit of a look there from Parker. The first little bit of testing the waters there into that chicane. They'll probably need to look for a move a little bit with a little bit more of an overlap than that, and definitely nothing going into this final corner, no matter what some other folks in this race will tell you. It is very, very dangerous.
No!
Not again for Matthew. That is really, really unfortunate. Why is it like it's all just happening on the straights? I'm expecting things to happen in the corners, but it's just folks drifting into each other. Just, I don't know if they I don't know if they think that they have like clearance, or if they think that the other car is going to move over, or what exactly it is. But it's definitely looking like some single monitor moments. I would call those.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of interesting, because the spoiler will definitely call that the car is still there, unless it's netcode. But it's definitely interesting that these sort of things happen. It's not the first time we see this here, and it's like it's really a track that you don't expect the move to happen here. But we're looking back at the replay here for Matthew as well as Dan Lee, the whole incident. I feel like Dan Lee was a little bit after the first tap got a little bit sideways and got a bit spooked out, and that has caused him to break very hard, and that has caused the entire incident with Dan Lee as well as Vossi Tigris. This has
Poor
caused
Vossi
basically,
too.
yeah, unfortunate for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably thought they were completely clear of that and just like did everything that they could to avoid that incident, but just clipped the back bumper like that exactly. And yeah, so this is what happened here.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, didn't get a fantastic angle on that. I would have loved to have seen it from the chopper, but I think that they were just sort of, jockeying for track position there just a little bit too much, and they just kind of both wanted to occupy the track. Here's a battle now. This is for P4 here. Vossi is trying to hold off a whole gaggle of 4 cars behind. They're 2x2 headed into turn 1 right now, and it looks like Vossi is going to be able to get their legs out and get extended from the rest of this group. A great move there from Electroshock to get ahead of this little group here. Now it's going to be the TGR teammates Suzuka and Parker fighting for that position, and Parker's going to find their way through. Anton Bursma is going to find their way through, or sorry, Dan O'Lee is going to find their way through as well, and that is going to be Suzuka all the way at the back of this little train with a little bit of a gap as well to Vossi, which was the car that they were trying to catch in the first place. But it looks like the moves aren't done quite yet because Parker is going to have to defend from the 19 here into 6 and 7. They should be able to get this done with the help of the camber on the inside. Yep, that is definitely going to be the move done for them. Maybe a little bit of a look there from Suzuka, but not too much really looking there. And I think Parker is just going to be getting a whiff of that slipstream from the back. But meanwhile, we're side by side again for the lead of this race. Athena getting up in front, and it was nice and clean this time. So these two are still trading positions this late into the race. We've got 5 minutes to go here at Road Atlanta, and that is going to be Athena pretty comfortably in the lead for now, but who knows how comfortable that's going to be later. We'll take you back to a replay of this fight here. This looked like it was, Vigil was actually a lot farther back on this one than I was expecting them to be, it looked like. And yeah, so just a little bit of so it was the TCR holding up Leclerc that was able to that gave Vigil the opportunity to be able to get in front. And then I think just with the slipstream on the back straight, they were able to get back in front once again. So just swapping positions there like they have all day.
Yeah, I think the MX guys don't have to worry too much if you know that you have the pace, but it's definitely not ideal, I would say. But Rafael getting hounded by Sarah. Will they make the move up to turn 1? Maybe, but no, not close enough. It might look close just then, but both of them still fighting close to each other. I think Sarah's a little bit not as confident in the brakes as Rafael here. Maybe still trying to figure out what braking points they are and how they are able to make a slingshot on the exits. But definitely trying to see that Sarah definitely has to make a move here soon, sooner or later. I think there's 5 minutes remaining in this race, so definitely need to figure out how they want to do this in the next few laps. But as you can see here, gravel still getting kicked up here in turn 5. I feel like in real life that basically that track is going to be a big divot. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they figure out how to get this move done. But coming down into this, they have to make a good exit here. Will they have a good exit here? Maybe. They seem like they have a good exit, but Rafael is still very far ahead. They might not be able to make the move out here for this lap.
If anything, it might be the Audi down on power, honestly, from what we've been seeing in this race so far. I think this looks like the best.
No.
This looks like the best opportunity that she's gotten, at least so far, at least in that draft. They're going to be side by side here. She chooses the outside for this one, an interesting choice there. And I think Rafael is just going to throw it up the inside there, carry more speed, and just cut her off at the exit. That was very nice and textbook defending there. But definitely, Sarah is still on the front foot here. It is going to be looking for that move into turn 1. She is thoroughly acquainted with the back of that crazy K9 car by this point in the race. And yeah, just not enough of an opportunity there for to get anything done really in turn 4. Here's Tombstone down in P7, who is trying to get some moves done. This is where they started this race. That's Matty up in front of this car, just trying to hold them off, the RNG TCR. I don't think anything's going to be really shaking out here up into turn 3 or into the S's, obviously. Yeah, like you said, it's really, really dusty there on turn 5, so they'll have to watch out there. Hey, look at this. We're going to have another lead change here in the MX5 class. It's Vigil TD getting up in front, comfortably in front, but that may have actually given an opportunity for Claire to throw it up the inside here, try to take it back immediately. She's going to go side by side. She's going to take the inside, and I think Vigil is just going to go ahead and take that track cut, which certainly was what that was. Is going to take that track cut in order to hold on to the position, and being tactical about it, I kind of like it.
Sometimes you gotta remember you have 17 X's to use. You gotta use all of them, I suppose. But right now, the side by side, so long as you don't get any slowdowns, definitely the fight is still gonna be on. Side by side going into turn 1, the TCR behind is definitely not having the best time getting stuck behind these two. But right now, clear into turn 3 is definitely gonna be safer. But the TCR behind definitely has to come in and take the overtake soon. So we'll see how these traffic fare out.
We keep saying stuff like that was the overtake of the season, and then we just keep seeing better and better overtakes. Like, oh my gosh, I love that. Around the outside of turn 1, just perfectly judged on the speed, perfectly judged on the car placement, and like she just gets it back immediately. I love these two. They've just put on a great show for us today, and yeah, thankfully that TCR not disrupting this fight too much. I'm thinking we're probably going to see yet another lead change here. These two, with all of these sort of, they're sort of tandem bicycling their way down from turn 7 all the way down to the chicane. And what that's done is it's opened up a 5-second gap between them and everybody else in this field. So it is truly this time just a 2-horse race for the lead of this one. Toomey, meanwhile, has not gotten that move done and is also having to defend from another RNG car. That's Ruben Sandwich behind, who is trying to get this done into the chicane. Here's Jordan coming around the final corner right now, looking to take the white flag, which I can't believe it's white flag already. I'm sure at some point in this race I said that it was later on in this race, but it just didn't click for me. Meanwhile, I think Toomey is going to hold this one. Yeah, just not enough of an overlap there. And look at all of these MX-5s that he's going to have to get through now. I think this is mostly the reason why these cars have come together like this, and that's going to slow them down even more. Suzuka getting a little bit of the... Oh, and they're going at it again up into turn 3 here. Athena having to do some defending here and managing to stay up in front. Sector 1 is looking like the stronger sector for her, but then Vigil manages to get it back on the straight, and they're fighting all over again, once again taking those X's. Look at that, all of that corner on the inside, and then even a little bit of the grass as well of that apex, and it doesn't translate into a move down into turn 6, but I don't think they're looking for it anyway. I think they're going to be looking down the straight once again. We're going to be heading down to the chicane, and it is going to be, is this the last lap, I think, for the MX-5, so Vigil is in a perfect position to take this one. Athena, if I were Athena, I'd be doing more weaving. Here she goes now. She's going to start just ducking to the inside of the track, ducking to the outside of the track. She's going to choose which direction she's going to go in. She's going to choose the inside. It's worked for her so far, so it's not a bad bet to place. Vigil, however, has been looking pretty strong on the brakes all day, and I think they are just about going to get this done, squeezing Athena to the inside, getting it done on the exit, and Athena just manages to keep a tire on the inside of that car. Whoa, my God, not at the final corner. She was looking for the switchback there. I know exactly what she was doing. I knew exactly what she was doing there. That's the checkered flag for the MX-5s, and not the way that she wanted to win it, but she will win it nonetheless. I almost think that she was trying to stop and give that position back before the line, but the line is just too close to the final corner, and that will be the win for Athena once again.
Yeah, it's definitely an unfortunate move right there. I feel like it's definitely unintentional. I think they definitely didn't want to go there. I think I feel like Vigil wanted to push them out. Oh, that's going to be a hit. Oh, that was interesting. Zim going to hit on Wolfen right there. Wolfen's going to get a cut from that. I'm not sure if Zim's going to slow down for that one, but unfortunately, there's going to be a cut. They have to serve that slowdown before the start finish. I think they served it, and there's going to be a cross line, and Wolfen definitely going to keep that position right there.
Meanwhile, at the top of our TCR class, it was Plasma in P1, Philip Beckevold in P2, Yoni Hagner ended up finishing in P3, so very, very comfortable for those 3 cars. Rafael Rodriguez managed to hang on to P4, only about a 10th in front of Sarah Van Vliepelen by the end of it, so Sarah managing to hound the Crazy K9 all the way to the end, but not managing to get around. Frustrating race for her today. Hakio Isametsu finishing in P6 and Tombstone in P7, so didn't manage to get the move done up into P6, but did manage to hold off both Paschetti and Ruben, who finished 8th and 9th respectively, the RNG drivers, and then Fabio Danihelka rounding out our P10 once again. Jordan giving the flashing to and is going to take some more reverse donuts, I'm sure, as we've seen in this series before. So it's Athena Leclerc ended up finishing in first there. I honestly doubt that she's going to stay there. We'll see what happens in the stewards room. Ari Molvatova ends up finishing in P2 after Vigil got dropped down the places at the end of the race. Vossi ended up taking a podium, so a great drive from them, starting from 10th on the grid was Vossi. Managed to get all the way up to P3 there. Parker Olsen also had a great race, finishing in P4, and then Electroshock in P5, the 3 TGR cars rounding out the sort of top half of the top 10 there. Then it was Dano Lee in P6 and Suzuka in P7. Zara in P8 and G-Fox Foxington finishing in P9, up 11 places for them. And Jewel Carpenter rounding out our final place. Or actually, no, sorry, G-Fox was a TCR. It was in between the 8th and the 9th place MX5. So it was actually Jewel Carpenter in P9 and Kel-Chan Ferret after that huge hit that we saw earlier in the race. Managed to finish in the top 10, so not a bad recovery there as well. But that is Road Atlanta.
I think despite the chaos, I think it was still definitely a very enjoyable race. I'm not sure if the drivers will agree, but I'm already seeing the chat lighting up from all the incidents that have happened today. So it's definitely interesting to see how the review for it post-race will be. But the moves here have been amazing. See here, jumping across the curb just to get some move done, but that was brave right there from Vigil for the lead, but unfortunately did not make that happen. But it's definitely how you gotta make things move, get things done. If not, you're gonna be staying behind for the entire race. So it's I think this highlight is just gonna be all the entire race.
Yeah, I'd really like to see this again. I do.
Oh no!
I think that she was just trying. It might have even been Vigil drifting out a little bit wide as well. But I think. I thought that Athena was just trying to look for a switchback and didn't judge it right, but I honestly think that, and we'll look at a quick onboard here, and I honestly don't even know if it was her fault.
Yeah,
I can't blame her, quite honestly. I mean, the stewards will have a look at it for sure. We'll see how they end up on it. But yeah, I think from our camera angle, it looked a lot worse than it ended up being. But yeah, that tends to happen sometimes. But yeah, this race was Road Atlanta in all the ways that mattered. I think you had draft trains on the back straight. You had bumping into the chicanes, into the S's. You had crazy multi-class action. Cars getting stuck behind slower cars. Yeah, take a look at this. These 2 RNG cars both hounding Toomey towards the end of this race, and it was really, really good of Toomey to be able to hold off both of these. Quite honestly, I wouldn't have expected that. But yeah, it was just really, really well held there. And yeah, this fight was just absolutely incredible. All of these drivers were stuck together for almost the entirety of this race. Yeah, too wide, settles into, just trying to find a rhythm. And I don't think any of them had a single lap where they didn't have to either attack or defend for the entire 25 minutes.
But yeah, I think we found, we kind of chose the best cars to race here as well. The GT3s, GT4s, they might be a bit too heavy. You might see bumping, but they are not going to be as intense as here. These drivers are treating these cars like they're basically tanks, and they're just hitting each other all the time in a good way. I won't say they're basically playing Destruction Derby, but it's definitely been interesting racing all of these, and I think it's definitely a very good combination despite the chaos that we've seen around this track.
Hey, where are we off to next after we take a look at Ari getting this move done? Which, you know what, I still agree with you. I still think that that was the move of the season, the switchback that she had, earlier on Athena and Vigil. But this move was really, really good as well. Just a great display today from Ari in most of these races. Obviously, we're about to see something not as great, if I remember what this highlight was. Oh no, actually no. This was nice and clean. Actually, this is good. This is good racing. This is good racing. Don't worry about it. We'll see the bad racing later. But yeah, I mean, you can take a look at the damage. It looks pretty bad there on the front bumper, but it actually didn't seem to affect her too much, at least for most of this race. But yeah, no, it was really, really, really well done. This was the one, I think. Yeah, that was the spin on Suzuka there, and yeah, I really unlucky of her to get bounced out there. But also, obviously, Suzuka just trying to hold it there, and it's just really, really hard in that chicane because the speed difference tends to be such that when you're trying to fit two cars from there, it looks like you can fit two cars through there, but you really can't. So I think that was just one of those things that happened. But anyway, we are off next time for our penultimate round, our round 5 of 6. We are headed to Oschersleben. We're on the B course. Great track for DTM. See a lot of GT3s there. Thankfully, won't have to use that awful pit lane exit there. But yeah, come back next week and you can see the track that, or no, sorry, this is not. No, this is next week. I'm sorry. Yes, I was just looking at the August 16th. This is next week. So yeah, come back to us next time for the track that made what was it? You wanted to get beat around the head for designing that turn 1. We'll see how the drivers feel about it.
Yeah, but I think I honestly like it. But at the end of the day, we are done here for tonight. We're gonna see you next week, as Kady said, Arena Oschersleben B course, not the full course. So hopefully some good racing then. I'm Newbie. Kady's been with me this time around. Thank you, Kady, for doing all the intros and all the talking that you have here. And we have our amazing broadcaster, Paliku'i, and it's gonna be us signing off from Simufur. Thank you. Have a good evening. It's good night for me, and it's gonna be see you all next week.
Night.